back to normal. Now, having said that, the dark cloud on the horizon of the single-family side is lumber prices. Lumber prices have risen by 170% since April, and that is really starting to have an impact on the builder's ability, A, to get lumber, or B, to build affordably with it.
So what are we looking at in terms of the possibility months down the line here if we continue to see this kind of increase in the prices?
Oh, if we continue to see this kind of increase in the prices, or I'll even make a more dire prediction, if prices don't come down, you will see a slowdown in housing. And so we invite our friends in the timber industry to increase their production and help us get America back to work.
Give me a sense of the kind of construction activity you have been seeing over the last 3 months. I mean, when you look at businesses overall, we have seen sort of the big uptick back in May or June as well, but it feels like with housing, things never really slowed down.
We were fortunate that in 44 of the 50 states, residential construction was deemed an essential industry. And so we kept going pretty regularly throughout the course of the economic shutdown. And frankly, even we were somewhat surprised at the strong V-shaped recovery we had, which is fueled, as I mentioned, in part by the number of people who are now leaving the urban areas, moving out to the suburbs, people recognizing that they can work remotely. I've even had builders tell me, builders in northern New England are getting calls from people in New York City. Builders in Montana are getting calls from people in Chicago because they realize you can live wherever you want as long as you can work remotely.
How many of these are first-time home buyers? What are you learning about who's actually moving out to the suburbs? I mean, we've had a lot of families obviously in there as well. I mean, the thinking is that a lot of these, some of the younger families that were living in the cities realized over the last 6 months they don't want to be in a small space anymore. Just give me a sense of the kind of profile you're seeing in terms of people who are buying now.
Oh, the first-time home buyer market is the key to the housing market. There's no question about it. And we are seeing a lot of young families that had been wedded to their urban lifestyle now realize, just as you say, that when you have to be quarantined, you need a little more room. In fact, it's interesting, for the first time in years, new home size is increasing. People are looking not only for a house that's well connected to the internet, but also people are looking for a place where they can have a home office and even a room where they can put physical fitness equipment. So house size is getting bigger for the first time, but it's still being driven largely by the first-time home buyers.
And what does the inventory look like right now and able to meet that kind of demand you're seeing in this exit to the suburbs?
The inventory is very low. We were short about 1 million units when we went into the COVID recession, and that hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot. The production numbers are looking strong, as I said, in single family, but we're still short of inventory, which is driving prices up. That, and as we talked about, the cost of lumber is really what has me worried about the first-time home buyer market and therefore potentially the overall markets.
You talked about some of the areas that you have heard people moving from. What are these suburbs that you are seeing the biggest momentum in? If you can break it down by cities or states, I mean, where are you seeing the real?
In the New York metropolitan area, Connecticut has gotten very hot. Upstate New York, up along the Hudson Valley, has gotten hot for the first time in many years. Out through New Jersey and into eastern Pennsylvania. In the Washington, D.C. area, you're seeing people move farther out into Virginia than in previous years, but the Virginia suburbs are hot. Illinois is a different kettle of fish. The economy in the Chicagoland area was bad to begin with, and it's still a little bit dicier there, but people are moving south and west into the western suburbs of Illinois. People are leaving California. When they can, a lot of people are moving. You see Nevada, Idaho, Arizona really getting the benefit of people exodus from California.
And Jerry, you've raised the concern about the lumber prices a number of times in terms of your ability to be able to meet the demand for these new homes. And yet what we keep hearing is that mortgage rates, as low as they are, will continue to fuel the demand for these new homes. Is that how you view the dynamics at play right now, or you think the lumber prices and particularly the inventory could really suffer if you're not able to bring, or at least bring the prices down?
Well, mortgage rates are terrific. There's no question about that. But remember, for every $1,000 increase in the price of a house, 150,000 potential buyers are priced out of that market. And right now, from April till now, the average cost of a house, only because of increase in lumber costs, has gone up by $16,000. So it's certainly something that we have to be very, very aware of and keep our eye on. And as I said, hopefully the timber industry will increase their production.
Jerry Howard, the CEO of National Association of Home Builders, joining us from Washington, D.C. there. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Coming up.